I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm going to be doing 24.
Now this won't come as a shock, but the OnlyFans problem, it has gone way too far. It started off as a marketing stunt, but it has quickly gotten so much worse. And at this point, it's fair to say that people on both sides of this exchange, well, they are shaving off their soul in real time.
So Kenneth here has travelled all the way from Scotland with his missus, because he won a competition to bonk me on the reality check show.
I mean, to the unfractured mind, it is impossible to imagine being either of these people. And I'll be real, like, I didn't want to believe that people like this actually existed, but they do, and a digital footprint is a real thing. These videos now do exist forever.
So this is the before, and I'll show you the after in 30 seconds.
Sadly, there was no after video. The guy just turned to dust. But all things considered, I think that genuinely might be a better fate than what happened to the girl involved. Her name is Lily Phillips, and she was recently in a documentary. In this documentary, they documented her sleeping with 100 guys. And you hear that, and it's not hard to believe what I'm about to say, but it was without a doubt the saddest thing I've seen all year.
What does it smell like?
Like brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh, holy
I guess it.
Now this picture speaks 1,000 words. She looks like she's just been liberated from a prisoner of war camp. I mean, you can see in her eyes alone that she has clearly been through some terrible things. But she is now like genuinely happy that it is over. If you ain't seen it, turn it to black and white and you'll see what I mean.
I mean, I've definitely seen some spunk today, Jesus. And it just took definitely a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I think it was when it was only like 40 and I was like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Yeah.
And 40 is still a lot of people. Like, imagine 40 people and be like, I'm not even halfway, like, done.
And to be honest, I don't think any human should. Like, our brains are not built for that scenario. Clearly, by the way. And as you're going to see, the situation just kind of degenerates as time goes on.
And I think I had a sandwich and that was kind of, and then the rest come. It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
You can see in real time that slowly it is actually dawning on her what she's just done. At some level, I do believe like she has just breezed through this and not really deeped what she was going into. And as well as that, by the way, in the documentary, it is clear that there are people behind the scenes. They're kind of pushing her to do it because obviously they would. They stand to profit from her going through this.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
if I was speaking for her sake, I don't think any of this should have been recorded, especially the bit that preceded this, by the way. Like, she is now being forced to introspect about what she has just done. If she wasn't doing this interview, I'm sure she would just push it away from her mind. But she can't, and I think with that in mind, this mistake she's made, it is now hitting her like a ton of bricks.
It's not like just having sex with someone.
yeah. Just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Sorry. Okay. It's okay. Just take
Yeah, 1 minute.
I don't think there was any other way that this could have ended, other than insurmountable regret, really. At some level, it's her mistake to make. She is the one profiting off this. I genuinely do believe that girls like this have been kind of psyoped to a degree, that this is like a powerful or liberating thing to do. It is 100% not. You are cutting off pieces of your soul and trading them for money.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all. I thought perhaps in years to come she may look back at this day in sadness, but not so instantly afterwards.
Again, this couldn't have ended any other way. There is so much blood on so many hands after this, and this documentary has been getting shit, but I think it was a good thing to make. Like, obviously it's vile, but they are dressing it up as exactly what it is. A completely, like, hollow journey.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
You cannot be happy after doing this. I'm sorry. Unless you are like a soulless sociopath like, I don't know, Bonnie Blue. This is genuinely nothing short of just pure self-destruction. And at this point in the doc, I was kind of satisfied that this is how it was portrayed. But you're not going to believe how this ends.
As she announced to her fans that in February of 2025, she would be sleeping with 1,000 men in a single day to break the world record.
Last week I did 101 guys. Now this was just the warm-up, because in February I'm going to be the first person ever to reach 4 digits of guys all in one day. Yes. 1,000 guys.
Now, I'm going to hope this is just marketing, but if that experience didn't make her come around, with that in mind, I don't think there is anything that will. I've seen a lot of blame being thrown at both sides. No one can really decide who is responsible for this atrocity. At the end of the day, degenerates do exist, I hate to break it to you, and she is profiting off them for a living, and she's making a lot of money.
Can you give us like any indication as to what a more recent month might look like?
I'll just show you. I don't really want to say if that's okay.
I think it's more money than you might be imagining.
Like, if you frame it as something different, I feel like the general opinion would be very different. Is the epidemic of gambling addiction down to individuals, or is it down to the gambling companies who stand to profit, who advertise it and normalise it? I mean, obviously, I feel like everyone would say that the gambling companies are the problem there. And by that logic, the fact that we are normalising this so, like, universally, clearly that's what's sending people down these pipelines.
Like, some of the 18-year-olds this time have been terrible.
Well, of course, yeah.
Lying there, like, so stiff. And I'm like, can I just open your legs to get there, please?
Now, when it comes to normalisation, there is one name that rises above the rest. It's Bonnie Blue, and she has been on a media tour recently. With that in mind, by the way, seemingly everybody's having her.
But I would expect that from 18-year-olds.
And then it keeps coming out because you're trying to do it, and then they're trying to go, and you're just trying to, it's not working, so you keep having to put it back in.
Now, this was allowed to happen for some reason, apparently having a grown woman who hunts 18-year-olds, and then also boasts that it's barely legal. Apparently, that is a good podcast for your teenage girl fans.
You fuck my husband, you cheeky bitch.
I'm like, well, you should have done it yourself.
Well, I slept with him that morning.
Well, you're not very good at it then.
That's fair enough.
GK Barry allowed this on her podcast. She is Ho Rogan at this point.
And then when I got tested recently, I put the swab up my arse because that's what I do in Australia and the US.
Okay.
Obviously I had like a tiny bit of shit on it.
I'll be entirely real. I don't even know who this podcast is for. And neither does GK Barry, by the looks of it, because the dislike ratio does speak for itself. It does restore my faith a little bit that people were, at least pushing back. But pushing back was something that GK Barry just refused to do. And that was kind of the problem, to be honest. She just brushed everything she said off.
Ran out of sex positions to suggest at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair enough. Fair. Well, that's fair.
Thing.
Yeah, that's fair. That is so fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, that's so fair.
Listen, you can call what Bonnie Blue does a lot of things, but fair probably isn't one of them. Yet despite that, she is now being like soft launched on mainstream media. The most egregious example I could find was her on This Morning in the UK. This is a breakfast / daytime TV show. Anybody could theoretically just turn on their TV and watch this. With this in mind, they had her on, and it's nothing short of an insane watch, to be honest.
So is she just a content creator making money or a dangerous predator who should be stopped? Bonnie joins us now alongside Ashley James. Good morning, ladies.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Introducing someone as potentially and I quote, dangerous predator. They're just smiling at her and giving her a nice little welcome. I mean, this definitely sets the scene, if nothing else. For context, by the way, the former host of this show was Phillips Schofield. He was quite literally sacked for having inappropriate relationships with younger guys. So with that in mind, you would think they would steer clear of Bonnie Blue.
So we've been talking, as we've mentioned during the show today, your salary, what you earn at the moment is upwards, you've let me know, of £600,000 a month.
Yes.
I would change careers for that kind of money.
Hear that, kids? This is a great career to have, and me, the presenter of this show, I would quit my job for that. The messaging they're sending out, even 30 seconds in.
It started off as just the money, because I didn't understand pleasure in sex as such, or I didn't understand the educational side of things. So yes, it started off purely around money. But then as I got into it and as I educated myself in the industry, not only did I realise how much pleasure I received from it, but also how much there's a missing gap of educational, content online.
Listen, we talk about shameless a lot, but this might be the most shameless thing said so far. Dressing up what you do as educational is actually laughable. I mean, you sleep with 18-year-olds, and when you're not doing that, you're uploading videos of you, sucking off Bevo. I wish I was joking, by the way, but he has made a career change in the last couple of months. I'm not lying when I say that the only thing you've educated us on is that Bevo is indeed human and not some amphibious life form. But dressing up what is porn as, educational content, doing it on daytime TV, and receiving no pushback at all. This shit is dangerous, and I can't believe it's been allowed.
Right, you have a very specific niche, don't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So barely legal, 18-year-olds. Because as I started my content, I realised it was not necessarily relatable to the average person.
I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. It's not relatable to the average person for a reason.
I think the issue that people have with you specifically is It's the fact that you use terms like barely legal. You say that you're babysitting for kids, I think is the word.
No, I've never used babysitting.
Sorry, babysitting for
Now, she
adults.
denies it, but much like her content, the proof is online and it's never going away.
Genuinely, their parents should be thanking me. I mean, they're in a safe environment. It's like babysitting for adults. Like,
That quote alone, you know, should be enough to make you think, why are we allowing this girl to self-promote, basically, on national TV? And luckily for her, though, she did keep digging this hole.
What kind of messaging are you putting out there? Because also I've heard you use, say phrases such as women are lazy if they're not going to give sex. Men, dads, husbands have a right to cheat. And I want to really touch...
I mean, even moving beyond OnlyFans, nobody is ever going to be on board with that. Even Lily Phillips, for example, has come out against Bonnie Blue when it comes to cheating. I mean, it's nothing short of insane, yet even despite all of these positions, the presenters still don't even push back on her. In fact, they actually kind of praise her.
I can't decide whether you're a genius marketeer and you found a niche that in that world of OnlyFans and all those things, you found a niche which is gaining you £600,000 a month.
Hear that, everyone at home? She is making £600,000 a month. If you destroy yourself, you could maybe make that money too. The marketing genius line, by the way. I still can't believe people are using it. Apparently, we now have to like collectively accept that people that, you know, humiliate themselves, they are marketing geniuses because they get negative attention. If short-term money is the only objective, then yeah, sure. But I can promise to you that none of this has a happy ending.
You think morally what you do is right.
100%.
Why?
Because like I said, there's a massive gap for it.
The idea that something is morally right because you can make money from it. I mean, I can't see this problem going away anytime soon. And it is genuinely getting worse by the week. You keep having these copycats coming out. A lot of them are so bad that I can't even show them on YouTube, really. But people are now genuinely convinced that this is a sustainable career path. And with that in mind, it might be over.
You know, you're like a Premiership footballer. But you're earning more.
I mean, I work with balls, so it's the same
There we
thing.
go. Thank you.
Yeah. It's over.